Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chillin' Podcast. We're back. Whoop whoop. Yes. Weep, whoop,
So
whoop, whoop.
enthusiastic. Yeah, we're back. Whoop whoop. Oh,
We're
fuck.
back.
Back.
Whoop, whoop.
We're back. Number 11.
Yippee.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Ooh, coming to the 12. Whoop 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 whoop.
What? Sorry.
Soon. Right. Hello. I'm Tom. I'm the one at the bottom. No, I'm on the right. Fuck. I'm not at the bottom yet.
Wow.
Fuck.
Wow.
Alright.
Do you even watch the videos?
Wow.
Do you even watch back the Do you even edit
Bro.
these things? Don't you?
It's crazy you edit them and you still don't know where you're placed.
Hey, hello guys. I'm Tom, and I'm a bottom.
Sick. Awesome sauce. I'm Tyler. I'm sick and I don't actually
You're
know
mid.
I am either.
You're mid.
I'm mid.
Oh, and I'm Harley, and I'm at the top, as always.
You're actually on the left side. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I'm
you
always at the
fucking
top.
idiot,
I'm at
so-
the top. I'm always at the top.
Right. Welcome to another month of the Chillin' Podcast.
Yay. Yippee.
Yay. Whoop whoopie doop doopie doop.
What the fuck? Bro, these noises are crazy.
Yeah. We're recording this one quite later on the day that we usually
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I think for reference,
so-
this is the latest we've ever
Yeah, I
recorded
think.
a podcast. So we kind of have maybe more energy than we should.
Maybe. Guys, like, how has November treating you guys?
Meh. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kick things off, guys. Like, as you can probably tell from my nasally voice, if you've ever heard my voice before, yeah, I'm sick. I got sick again, so I think that's 2 or maybe 3 times I've been sick during this entire podcast. So that's fucking
I think it's
awesome.
3. I think this is the
Yeah.
third time.
So this is epic. I love this. I love doing this. I love sniffling into the microphone all the time. That's my favorite thing to
Yeah.
do.
It's like you're smelling them.
God, that
Someone's into it.
I
It's fine.
just,
It'll work
I
out.
just cringed like fully. Right. No, no. But yeah, I've had a bit of a busy month actually. I think in retrospect because I've been doing a lot of work towards my next video.
Ooh.
Woo.
Whoa.
For context, I'll say that the video is about particular movies,
Okay.
and so I've had to watch a lot of movies
Movies.
to have the correct research and like backing towards my like opinions and my thoughts. So I had to watch a lot of fucking movies. So that was my entire like month.
Watch the
journey.
entire 50 Shades of Grey movie franchise.
Yeah.
That's what he
Yeah,
did.
it
And he's
was
analysing
awesome.
it. Yeah.
It's a tier
my
list
friend.
video.
Yeah.
Ranking every moan.
Yeah, it's for research. It's for research.
It's for research purposes
of course.
only. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I did that, and then I've been working on the script, and I've been doing a lot of work on that, and then I was going to record, the audio, and then, well, here we are. So I'm not really going to be able to record the audio, so I think the video might come out a bit later than I would want it to, but whatever, I don't fucking care.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'll still work on it in the meantime and try and get what I can done because I'm looking forward to this video. I think it's very cool. It's definitely the video I've done like the most research on, I think.
So if you guys liked those the 2 videos Tyler did, keep your eyes and ears freaking peeled, bro.
Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
your ears peeled.
Yeah.
I'm peeling them.
And get your nose sniffing. Like,
No, I'm actually like, it's crazy how much I've cringed. Like,
Well,
actually, in the first 5 minutes of this podcast, the cringe factors are fucking out of this world. But like, apart from that, I've been playing games. A lot of them damn video games. I played obviously the game we played this month, but I also played another game totally unrelated. It's called the Legend of Zelda or Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
right.
Completely
Right.
different game. It has nothing to do with this one, but I played that for like 46 or like almost like 50 hours.
bloody hell.
fuck me.
Because like I was sick and like I needed a Switch game to play, and I was like, well, I can like lie in bed and play it. I can set it up somewhere and play it. So I've literally just been doing that. But yeah.
Dusting off the Switch.
Yeah, and I haven't really been playing like much of the Switch the entire year. So I felt like now was a good excuse to just play as much Switch as possible before it becomes obsolete when the new fucking console comes out.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is there any news on that, or is that just...
Nah.
Not that I'm aware of, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
So, is there a direct anytime soon? Do we know anything?
There was one like a few months ago that was like that people really thought that's when they were gonna announce it, but then they just didn't.
Yeah.
Which was a bit disappointing.
This is a crazy prediction, but it would be kind of badass if they showed something off during the Game Awards.
Awards.
That would be
when
cool.
are the Game Awards?
In December.
December.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it's the 4th of December. I might be wrong.
Maybe. Yeah. Bro, before we go to the rest of the months, you just reminded me.
Okay.
Get a lot of talks about Game Awards this year.
Yeah.
Like controversies about. It's mostly just Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Yeah.
Like being nominated for Game of the Year.
And remakes as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I think it's not the first time remakes have been.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Game
the
of
first
Year, right?
time, but it's definitely like a point of
Questionable,
conversation.
you think? But it's the thing of okay. I think DLCs is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think remakes, like for example, the remake is Final Fantasy VII Part 2, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's a completely different game than the original. And it is a full game.
It is a full entire game, so I think the argument that just because it's a remake it shouldn't be there is the dumbest thing I've ever heard personally.
Yeah.
I kind of get the argument that there should be like nowadays there should be like a category for like best remake because we get so many remakes every year that I feel like that's fair. But I feel like with the context of Rebirth, it's a fucking like massive game and is very different to the original.
Yeah.
To the point where I can consider it to be its own game at this point, to be honest. Yeah. Like, it was a huge game. Like, it blew up for a while. I think it deserves to be recognized still as a game that was, played a lot and recognized a lot, just as much as the other games. Like, I feel like maybe I'm on the wrong side of YouTube, but I feel like Rebirth was covered way more than Astrobot, but Astrobot still was popular, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it had like as much coverage as games like that. And so I still think like, if you're going with that logic, then, some of these games maybe shouldn't be on the list. But
Shall I read the list out of the nominations of Game of the Year?
Yeah.
All right, so we have Astrobot, as mentioned.
I think that's fair.
We have Balatro. I have no idea what it is.
Balatro, I still haven't played it, but I really want to. It's basically a roguelike game.
Oh, all right. Okay.
But it's card. It's card. No, it's fine. It's card based.
Oh,
it's
God.
like actual playing cards, like regular cards.
What?
I still haven't played it, but I'm really interested because I was also kind of like you, Holly. I was like, why do people care about these regular cards? Whatever, because I've played like Slay the Spy, which is also card based, but it's different. It's like cards have like abilities and shit. But I hear all these people praising this game so much. I'm like, I need to play this.
But I feel crazy because I thought that came out last year.
No, was this year?
But it was this year. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And
I've heard a lot about it.
And it's always cool to see an indie game getting a nomination.
That's huge.
For Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's huge.
You're probably not going to win, but it's great.
Okay. Yeah. So after that is Black Myth Wukong.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still haven't played that, but I do want to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then there's Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the controversy.
Then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then Metaphor Refantasio.
Yeah, that's the one that I feel like has very high chances of actually winning. That and Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are the two.
There are a lot of strong contenders. I'm not really sure.
So.
I felt like last year it was very clear what was going to win. I'm not being biased or anything, but I felt like the impact that
Baldur's Gate
3 had.
Yeah,
I felt like we all knew
huge impact.
We all knew that was going to win.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't really know because I'm also thinking of what actually came out this year.
I guess
I'm gonna be honest. This year, maybe this isn't true, but like I do feel slightly like the fact that this year was a bit of like a dead year for
Do you think?
Releases
for games, yeah,
or like lifespan of hype of games, and it just dies like in a week or something.
Like,
you know what? It could have been. It could have been like also the writer strikes and shit.
Yeah,
maybe.
But I do feel that like in comparison to previous years, like something as hard hitting as like. Because it was Final Fantasy 16 in last year as well. There was.
Final Fantasy 16 was last year.
I can't remember like all of the games that were in the last year ones, but I remember they were
Baldur's Gate 3,
serious contenders.
It was Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Some other one. I don't know if Final Fantasy. No.
They were all like big games.
Yeah, it was Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
But I feel like this year, like maybe, like I don't know, it's a difficult one.
Yeah, I don't think I've been up to date to a lot of the games that have come out, to be honest.
Me neither. Like, and I think it's also, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation entirely, because like, I feel like because of how expensive they are nowadays, it's like hard to keep up with all the games coming out, like, and actually, like, buy them and have the time to play all of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get that, like, I don't know, like, fair judgment. But I feel like I was way more involved in last year's one, because I played 3 out of the...
Yeah.
However many games there were, like, and each one I was like, oh yeah, I
feel close to this one.
I wouldn't be mad if this one won or this one won.
Yeah.
Should we make predictions of what we think is going to win Game of the Year, and then we'll refer back to like in next month, and we'll see.
Yeah.
I will say Metaphor.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna maybe Black Myth Wukong. Just because I remember that being like really big for a time, and like because it was very highly anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was like a massive one, and then I'll like because I don't think. Here's what I will say: will not win. I don't think Elden Ring will win.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Will not win. Mainly because of the backlash. I feel like it's dropped like a massive percentage. Because I feel like if the audience reacted that strongly, I don't think they'd then go and then vote for that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like
it would win. It would definitely win best DLC, probably.
Yeah,
probably.
Is there a category for that?
No, but
no,
there could be.
I was going to
say
there
should be.
There should be. Yeah,
there should be.
Maybe there should be.
Maybe there isn't enough DLCs going around.
But then I think about like DLCs that come out for games, and some of them are a bit shit, and then there's some that are quite like good.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's the category for like best ongoing support or something like that.
Right. And yeah.
Can be in reference to DLC.
I guess. Yeah.
Because I think. Last year might have been Cyberpunk. I don't remember. But like, when a game continues to receive support and new content, I guess that could be considered DLC. Like, I feel like that would be fair. Mm-hmm. But then I think this year, I don't know if Fortnite is in that list, but I do feel like Fortnite's probably gonna win that. I feel like that's fairly deserved.
Best ongoing game. Fortnite.
I feel like that's deserved this year. Because, like, this game
it went crazy.
Fuck up this year and kind of brought back a shit ton of people. Like, not to mention OG as well, that happened.
Yeah. Was it this year?
Yeah, I believe so.
Was it?
Yeah.
I feel like it was last year.
It was, like, right at the end of last year.
Right.
Going into, because December time was this chapter, season 1, because New Year's event was in the game. In that
True. Yeah.
I'm letting my Fortnite nerd show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think's gonna happen. I think there will be a massive outcry if Elden Ring does win.
Yeah, I don't know if I care that much about like who wins Game of the Year, but like if the DLC wins Game of the Year, I'll be like, okay, Game Awards have fallen off a bit, you know.
I don't know. The thing is, I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah, what was it?
Devil's Advocate.
Something Devil's Advocate. That's
okay.
It.
Yeah. When you like think of DLCs, as my argument come out, like they're not being good or not very big. With Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, it was a completely new add-on game, right? In itself, which should be highlighted. But I understand the controversy. But with the context of it being Shadow of the Erd Tree. It was a huge... it did feel like a new game.
Like, people did say, like, there was the big uproar when, like, it came out of people, like, defending it, saying the fact that, like, when the DLC came out, people did consider it to be almost a second game.
Yeah, because there was so much...
By how much shit they did add, and for how much they were charging for it, because people were like, oh, why is it this much? And it's like, it's this much because of this much stuff that's been added.
And how much work's been put into it. It's difficult.
Like,
I do definitely think it should be commended. Like, for like what it is or it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know, game of the year for a... Because if they titled it...
the games that come out then, if that's going to be game of the year,
like,
there's no other...
Exactly. Yeah. Like, because, like, for example, so Elden Ring is like an open world game, right? And, like, I know Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are also open world games. And Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, Tears of the Kingdom kind of happens in the same world, right? Kind of? Yeah. So, like, if they had... done like Elden Ring 2 and it was like in the same world and they titled it like, you know, as or marketed it as a new game, I think it would have been fine. But they marketed it as a DLC and it is a DLC, so I think it's weird to have it as marketed as game of the year.
Now if
it's not a game
now,
it's like, a DLC.
If they made a whole new category for other DLCs, there's no competition.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then that's a fair win. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can't really complain about that if that was the case.
But you know, if they added that category, you know, they'll do that. Maybe like people will start making more DLCs for their games. But I don't know if that's a good thing. No,
I think that is, but it depends on what...
It's a good thing because it then puts the quality of the DLC into question.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
But I can see where you could be concerned where it's like, oh, and they'll rush to make DLC.
Yeah, now they'll have a full game. I have to wait for the DLC to come out.
I think without a shadow of a doubt, see what I did there? The game should be like I just said it, the game, the DLC should be commended for, you know, what it is.
Yeah.
But I do think objectively, if you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, this is something that's adding on to a pre-existing game.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it is not the game of the year. I don't know.
Like I can play Elden Ring without Shadow the Earth Tree, but I cannot play Shadow the Earth Tree without Elden Ring.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And I can play Breath of the Wild without Tears of the Kingdom, and I can play Tears of the Kingdom without...
Because at that point...
Breath of the Wild.
I would say that, like, they should have just put Elden Ring in the category
again,
and
that's crazy.
Elden Ring, and it's the reason why it's got Game of the Year is because of what they added to the game.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that one, but
I feel like that's a better way of putting it instead of saying this DLC is the game of the year.
Oh no.
Yeah,
it's Elden Ring is the game of the year because of this.
I didn't even say my prediction.
Oh yeah, what's your prediction? Sorry.
I'm gonna be the diamond in the rough, and I'm gonna say Astrobot.
Astrobot, yeah. You know what? I'll be so happy if Astrobot won.
So we'll see.
Like, yeah. Wait, have you guys played Astrobot?
No, but I will be.
Oh, and following from that note, tell us about your time. How was your time
after that month? Tangent? Yeah, well.
Yeah. So sorry, I threw this onto that, but I think it made sense.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, this month it was my birthday month.
Yay!
Another year older. But yeah.
How was?
It was alright. It was chill.
Hell yeah!
All I wanted for birthday. Yep.
Hell yeah!
And I got Astrobot as well for my birthday.
Hell yeah!
It's pretty poga. So I'm gonna play that when I have time. After playing the game for next month.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything highlight? No, it was just a chill day. And obviously early in the month we all saw each other in real life.
Yeah, we hung out. Yeah, we didn't take any pictures. No,
we didn't. We're not that kind of people, I guess.
We don't really take pictures. Yeah,
we savor the moment. We're like we're living it. You know?
Guys, we live in the moment. We're not a part of that social media mindscape. We're just kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just kind of played a bunch of we're just like there's a lot of board games we want to play and we want to play together and want to hang out together.
Yep.
Let's do that. Because maybe people don't understand why we don't hang out more often together in person. We just live very far away. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah. So we finally had a a good time to all get together, and we had a good time.
Yeah,
played some
Played a
board
bunch of fucking
games.
games.
We played Dread for the first time. That was
Dread,
fun.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we played Dread. That was
Tyler
fun.
hosted it.
Yeah.
DM'd it.
Yeah,
It's
I
pretty
did
sick.
do that.
Pretty good.
We all survived
We all
the
survived
Jenga.
Dread.
Did all
If you don't
survive.
know, Dread is like a TTRPG, but it all relies on a like Jenga tower.
Yeah.
And if it falls, characters die and shit like that.
It's very high stakes, but I got inspired to do it after watching like Smosh play it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, kind of was brewing an idea to play it. I didn't really necessarily know at the time that I would run it. And then I ran it and did that, and that was fun. It kind of inspired me to be like, okay, I have a bit more experience and confidence in the ring, if you guys are aware, or I don't know. We haven't mentioned it in a while, but we still play D&D.
We do. We do.
We still be doing that.
Yes.
And so it has like given me a bit more confidence to be like, okay, maybe I can do something at some point. Like there's still like hope there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Free me.
But again, like as all things, it's a work in progress. Like I definitely want to do a lot more smaller things in the future, and like one-offs to prepare me and like to get more comfortable doing it and like sort of come out of my shell a bit, because like I mean I was shitting bricks running it and like really trying to figure things out in the moment. Like I can't lie, there's so many funny things where like a bunch of things were planned, but like specifically because of one action or something like the whole thing got derailed. And like for context, it was like a horror setting, like akin to like Friday the 13th, and they're at a summer camp, and they all decided to just sort of go to bed, and like things went to shit and things got mysterious, and they were just like, oh, we'll just go to bed, and then they went to bed. And so and they like locked the doors and shit, and I was like, okay, so they did the smart thing. I was expecting like at least someone to like be like, oh, let's do this, or let's try and solve this. But everyone was just like, nah, I'm good to go to bed. And so like for the rest of the game, it was me trying to figure out, being like, all right, how the fuck am I gonna get these people to do these certain things? And like, luckily you guys did certain activities, so that was fun. But there are plenty of more where I thought like, oh, that would have been a cool or like a scary scene or a moment. But I'm definitely inspired to do another one in the future. I have plans to do another one because I think it'll be fun. But yeah, who knows?
I mean, with just role playing games in general, you always, it won't always go to plan, and people will do things that you don't expect. You're just like, fucking hell, let's just go.
Talking from experience yourself.
I am. You got to be okay, we'll change it, improv in the moment and change it. It will happen all the time. Yeah.
Like the biggest thing I need to learn is adaptation. Like that's the biggest thing that like is hindering me. Like I obviously I need more confidence, but like as a part of that, I need to be able to think more on the fly and try and write things and like create things more on the fly. Because I'm a very like predetermined person.
Right.
You know, I come from like a game development background. So like I like outcomes and listing. Oh, this affects this, and this goes this. Yeah. And then like if someone doesn't do this thing, then all of those events don't trigger. And so I need to be able to like make it so that events can kind of weave in and adapt and trigger regardless of certain things, and just kind of get more comfortable doing that. Yeah. That's about that. I don't want to rant too or go too heavy into that for now.
We could be talking about D&D and shit for God knows how long.
Yeah.
We should maybe do a podcast about that.
Maybe.
But I think there's something that's more pressing, and that's talking about what happened to Tom this month.
Yes.
Tom,
so
what have you been doing this month?
I mean, Harley, were you done?
I don't think was there anything else to add? Yeah, I got more D&D books, the new edition books. Been reading through them. Yeah. Pretty pog. New Dungeon Masters guys, pretty pog. Anything else? Been reading more Bleach. And there's probably something else, but I've forgotten.
Right. I'm going to keep it short.
Okay.
To be honest, because here's what I did this month.
Okay.
Played the game.
Yep.
Watched JoJo.
Yep.
Finished part 4 and 5.
Okay, pog.
And worked.
Fair.
That's literally all I did this month.
Awesome.
And we were just chatting just before the pod because I literally just finished part 5 today, and I was like, I was confused. Because I know Netflix has fucked with JoJo like a little bit, like in terms of not releasing certain things or whatever, like different parts and maybe episodes or whatever. And I was genuinely confused because I thought part 5 wasn't complete.
Right.
But no, it just has a very anticlimactic end.
Yeah.
So on to part 6.
Yeah.
Part 6.
And if I finish it for the next episode,
You probably...
maybe we can all do like obviously you guys haven't watched it in a while, but we can do a ranking of all of them, like very quickly.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now, part 5 is very much in the bottom right now.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Damn. Hear that, JoJo fans? Get off the Tom right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the funny thing about that is like the weird split. Like, I feel like there's like a lot of people that like part 5, a lot of people that don't like part 5.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of enjoyable things, but like it's the wrong things that are enjoyable. Like it's not the things I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to JoJo, man.
Yeah.
and his bizarre adventures.
Yeah, I feel like
not everyone else's bizarre adventures.
Yeah, you're starting to realize like the thing of like, as the more the parts go on, I'm not sure how much this is true when we get into like part 7 onwards territory. Mm-hmm. But like from past like 3, it was in 3 as well. Sometimes it's like it's more focused on like the greater cast.
Yeah.
Of characters,
but
and they
I
have
think
like different
part
segments
3...
about the greater cast and what they're doing.
Yeah. I will say part 3 definitely Jotaro is not the most interesting character, but I think every now and again they're like, okay, guys, the show's about him. Ultimately, it's about him.
Or it's the main character, like the side characters do all the work, and then Jotaro comes in and beats them up and does an aura at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Yeah. But
which gets more repetitive from time to time. But
yeah.
That's it for me, my month.
My God. Well.
Tyler, do me a favor.
Yeah.
What the heck did we play this month?
Oh, what did we play this month, guys? We played a fucking heckin' game this month. I mean, we mentioned it at the end of the last one, so if you didn't get to the end of the last one, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
The frick?
Fake fan. But if you really want to know, we played The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Wow.
A game that
Change the screen. Change the screen. Change the screen.
Change the screen.
I already did it, gamers.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Sorry, continue, Tyler.
Continue what I was going to say. I've lost my complete train of thought. I've genuinely lost it. Like, you actually just like shouted so loud, I completely just forgot what was going on. I thought you hurt yourself. I was like, holy shit! Like I had to pause. I just genuinely stopped thinking. We're leaving this in. We're leaving this in because this is funny. But no. Breath of the Wild. It's a game that released, I think, like back in 2017.
You are correct.
I thought that was the end of the sentence. It's a game that released.
Yeah,
it's a game. So yeah, it's a game. The end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came out in 2017.
Yeah.
I believe it had a little time on the Wii U, and then it was like on the
Really?
Switch.
Crazy.
Yeah,
What?
it had a small time on the Wii U, I believe.
Oh my God, you're correct. Holy shit.
Guys,
way.
you're about to find out in this one episode how much I know and care about this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since it's come out, like almost like 7 years. Like, crazy. That's crazy to me. But anyway, it's an open world game. Probably like one of the biggest for its time that kind of really put open world like on the map, I'd say. Like it, open world sort of existed before, but like Breath of the Wild like did it loud and proud, and game studios were like, oh, this open world thing's pretty cool, eh? It's such a fun little game. Like, I don't really know what else to say. Like,
Yep. Talk more about the baseline of the plot. Like
the baseline of the plot. All right, cool. So, you guys might have to fact check me because you played it
yes.
a lot more diligently than me, as you'll come to find
Okay.
out. But I believe what happens is you play as Link, obviously, who wakes up after a very long slumber of like 100 years.
Whoa.
As you come to find out that Hyrule Kingdom has been absolutely decimated by Calamity Ganon and his forces, who have like basically taken over the fucking world and the castle.
That's reminding me of a certain show. No.
Oh.
Think of it. Anyway, continue.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't actually know what show he's talking about.
I'm still thinking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, anyway, so he, again, I've lost my thought trying to, like, you need to shut the fuck up. I'm losing focus. I'm trying.
This man is sick. He's on his deathbed and you're just confusing him.
I literally almost have a fever. Let me fucking swear to God.
Sorry.
He's starting to think that he's not actually doing the podcast. He's just speaking to himself.
Look, sometimes I don't know if you guys are real. Okay, look, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out.
Okay. Anyway, back in the room. Back.
What the fuck was I saying?
You're talking about how fucking Calamity Ganon's come back to fuck shit up.
Calamity Ganon, you know the big Ganon guy.
Yeah,
he's freaking back and he's destroyed the kingdom and shit. And the game is like pretty much like semi like dystopian, where it's like, oh, what if there's a reality in which Link lost, and that is this game, where you basically have to go on your winter arc, your comeback arc, and you've got to, free the divine beasts that have been set out across the land and been taken over by Calamity Ganon, unite with the 4 champions, and beat the shit out of Calamity Ganon and save Zelda. But yeah, there's a lot, I guess, to go over, so where do we even fucking begin?
Well,
I guess we can talk about the hours we've played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, just put a perspective on our individual reviews. I can go first. I think I probably did the least.
Okay.
Yeah.
For reference, I didn't finish the game because, busy working. But I did 20, according to the Switch, I did 20 or more hours.
Okay.
Harley, what about you?
I did 45 more hours.
Awesome sauce.
I'm ready for this. Is this? Wait, hold on. Well, before you even get to your number, this?
I'll explain.
Okay.
I'll explain because
Okay.
it's. So I've played Breath of the Wild a lot since it came out. Not as much as other people, but definitely a fair amount. But I've also played it on a bunch of different accounts and profiles, because I wanted to save my progress on specific ones, because I didn't want to lose things, because I basically almost 100%ed my first save file, which is on my main. So on my main I have 145 hours.
Fuck me.
So that's like the one playthrough. Has 145, where I did all the shrines, all of the side content. And then I did another account in which I played it, but that hasn't saved the hours. And then I've also played for this video or podcast on another account as well, because I had my side account, and then I made an account for chilling, and so I played on that as well. So basically it's totaled out to probably around 200 hours.
So what was the one you played this month? How long was that?
So I don't, because it's on profiles, it doesn't give you the hard number.
Right.
So I basically had to, estimate.
Okay.
Pretty much. So it could be, more than 200, but I'll hard cut it off at 200.
Okay.
But if you had to guess how long it took you to play this, this time around?
This time round is a difficult one. I will explain, you know what? I won't say anything.
Oh.
I want you guys to talk about your experiences,
Okay.
and then I'll tell you about mine.
Okay.
Because mine's fucked.
You know what? I'll speak about mine because, again, I didn't finish the game.
Fair enough.
And I had the least amount of time. So, my experience, after dusting off the old Switch, because I also barely played Switch games this year, or even ever, to be honest. I was very excited to play the game. I never played a Zelda game before, so I was like, let's freaking do this. And then it tells me that the jump button's on X. Brother. And X for the non-Switch players, and PlayStation 5 players, no, it's not on the bottom one, it's the top button.
Yeah.
What?
So if you didn't believe he didn't play the Switch, now you know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what the buttons do.
Yeah. It's X is for jumping?
Yeah.
Pathetic. But yeah, so it took...
wait, what button should jump be on, Tom?
I guess, I don't know. It with my PlayStation mind, I don't care about the letters and shit. It should be the bottom one.
Okay. Interesting.
Awesome.
Or the either that or the right one.
Oh, why's that?
What's that?
What's that, Tom?
Because of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, a bit of fucking favoritism. Sorry.
No. It should be the bottom one. No, it should be the bottom one. The reason why Kingdom Hearts is like that because the bottom one is also in different games how you select things, and Kingdom Hearts is a menu-based fighting game. So you select with the bottom one, and then the right one is the second best one. But it should be the bottom one.
It should.
Were you guys ready? Were you guys ready to pull that one on me?
Yep.
Fuck it.
Yeah. I had a feeling. Yeah.
But
was gonna come up.
I can tell you what it shouldn't be. The top one. Or the left one. But yes. So basically, this is to say, I struggled with the mechanics of the game a little bit, getting accustomed to like how the Switch works and stuff, or like a mainly Switch game. But you know, I was having fun. I had fun playing the game generally. There's some things that upset me because of how the mechanics of the game are. Like the jumping. There's one thing. Like this guy doesn't jump a lot. But then he climbs a bunch, but not everything, and it's frustrating a little bit. But then you get powers that make you jump a bunch, and it's like frustrations that as you play the game, because you get more shit, it kind of goes away. But it's like the early times, like well, the fighting is fine, I guess. The durability is a bit annoying, the durability shit, but I guess it gets you to be more resourceful of your stuff, which I think can be interesting. But I think my favorite stuff has been the exploring like the world and like unlocking shit and doing the Divine Beast. I still haven't done all of them. I was just on my fourth one. I forgot the name. It's the one that's like a chameleon. That's the one.
It's Rodania, I think. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's been my favorite things. But yeah, obviously I'm aiming to continue and finish it, and what I'm aiming to do is like, which I'm assuming is like the regular like first playthrough kind of situation of like doing the Divine Beasts, maybe doing some of the memento stuff, like the memory shit.
Yeah.
So you have some, you're not like a weakling going.
You're basically doing the main quests.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I'm not doing any side shit.
Experience is doing like, you go to the main quest tab, it goes like, do this, and you do what's on the list, pretty much. That's basically baby's first run of Breath of the Wild. That's basically what I've been going through. But I'm gonna stop yapping because it's not like I have much else to say. So Holly, how is it? How's it for you?
How's it for me, gamers? This is the first Switch game that I've played all the way through, as Thomas mentioned before, dusting off the Switch.
Yeah.
For me, I've got to separate this review from being, like, I need to put it into two parts of reviewing the Switch and reviewing Breath of the Wild.
Honestly, that's so true.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Because, to me, I feel like the Switch is the best console for, like, house party games and couch playing, if you get what I mean. Sadly, I don't do that much. So the Switch is kind of like renders kind of like useless to me. But I have one because I want one, and people say that some games on them are pretty good. One of them being Breath of the Wild, right? And I've never really played a Zelda game ever touched one. So this is my first time going through it, and I'm gonna say I fucking love the premise of the game. For someone who knows nothing about Zelda, the plot of Link forgetting who he is and
that's very
discovering everything new. Like, this is kind of like a reboot of like the story, I guess, if that's the right way of putting it, kind of. So yeah, I kind of had similar kind of gripes at the beginning that Tom had, with like just getting used to the buttons and where things were placed. My main annoyance at first was the durability of weapons at the start, feeling like they were really, really weak. But then I kind of understood, because as you progress throughout the game, you get better weapons, and then you find the best weapon in the game. And also getting used to the combat system. We'll get more onto that later. But yeah, just figuring out. I wasn't really too fussed that X was the jump button. I think I've played games where the top button is jump as well. But yeah, it wasn't too much of a problem. But yeah, I mean, for me, the main aspect was the story and discovering the world and what happened before and stuff. And I'm not really a puzzle guy. If someone gives me a puzzle in a game, I just sign off for fuck's sake. I hate them, right? But these puzzles in these games were actually not too bad, and I generally did enjoy them with the little shrine dungeons that are in the game. They were really good. And then it's just doing this. The story was nice and everything, and I just generally had a really good time exploring the world. But yeah, I generally enjoyed my time, like separating the gripes from the Switch itself from the actual game. I generally did really enjoy this game, and I want to play the next one.
Did you also have like a similar thing to me as like just doing like a regular like first play through of like
I didn't give a shit about it. Like I think I was in the mindset of getting through the story because that's the main thing I do with games is just like go through the main story, even though I should explore a lot of the world. But I kind of knew that this game was huge enough as it was, so I didn't want to distract myself too much on the side quests.
That's fair.
Because I did try and attempt one and then saw the premise. I was like, oh fuck that! If they're all going to be like that, I'm not bothered. Kind of thing. So yeah. So the main thing I want to highlight the main thing, and the main thing is discovering shit and the exploration, right? So I'm going to tell a story that was like one of my favourite stories in this game, and that was finding the Master Sword in this game. It's sick because it's
Please tell me so I can find it.
Well, it's not actually, I think, unless I found it earlier than I needed to, but basically you find it by just exploring, and it was cool. It's discovering where it was, because basically in an area I knew a few Zelda things, right? I knew there's the Master Sword and the shield, and I know there's a big fucking tree. So when I found a big fucking tree, I was like, maybe. So I went in that direction, and basically the forest is very spooky, and there's kind of like a cool puzzly thing of navigating through that like spooky forest area, because if you go into the mist, you get teleported to the start of the forest again. So you need to like figure out how to get through it. But then eventually you come through, and then the mist fades, and you go into this beautiful kind of glade, and you see the big fuck off tree, and you're like, hold on a minute, and then you see the Master Sword in the fucking like Sword in the Stone scenario, right? And that was such a cool discovery that I found myself. I was like, oh, I found it by myself. I didn't even like, it's just like, but it's a cool thing that it was a thing that you just have to discover in the game. Like, you could play the game without even finding that sword.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's very natural, like.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously when you do, like... Bro, that's 2 times... I'm sorry, I'm, like, 5 years old, but that's 2 times both me and you have said doo-doo. But,
yeah.
But there are, like, circumstances where, like, when you complete the Divine Beasts, like, the characters will be like, oh, by the way, you should get your sword and stuff. Yeah. Like, that's important.
I
think
like, when you...
They get a bit more annoying about it the more you go on. So, like, the more you do it, the more you're like, okay, maybe I should try and look for this sword. I don't remember specifically if they eventually go like, right, go here, please.
They did. I think they do. They say, oh, I think it was in the forest.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. But like, I found it way before then.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't get it instantly. You have to earn it.
Yeah.
Which is also cool.
Yeah.
And it's the suspense of if you've done enough things to pull the sword out of the stone. It's pretty cool. I loved it. Like gambling, going, oh, have I got enough? Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? And then it's like, I did it with like one thing remaining. I was like, I did it! Let's go! And it was such a cool, rewarding aspect.
I'm
not. It's not as equally as exciting for the shield though.
No.
It's very random.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything like that. That was cool, and it was just in a random place with a random boss, and it was a bit anticlimactic, but yeah. So you could. I think a lot of people would have walked past that, and I probably would have.
Yeah.
But I did try and find, like, I did Google where the shield was, and I asked you, Tyler, because I was like, where's the shield?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get the shield? And then you told me, I was like, oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had the full drip all the way to the end. Even the actual, like, tunic, the blue tunic he wears and stuff was cool. It was sick. But yeah, that was my favourite highlight of my journey in the game. But Tyler, I think it's time to pass on to the torch to you.
Right, okay. Where do I even begin? Right, okay, so as you guys have mentioned for your playthrough, you decided that you'd be following the main quests, obviously, with the characters being, freeing the divine beasts and working with the revealed deceased champions to with their spirits to take down Ganon once and for all, right? But boys, fuck that noise. This is an open world game and is one of the best open world games to exist. And so, you can just do whatever you want, really. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to test out this theory. I've replayed this game so many fucking times. Like, I don't need to re-experience a lot of this stuff. Like, I kind of know it like it's the fucking back of my hand at this point. So I was like, I'm going to do something I've never done before. And I'm going to try and just leave the Great Plateau, right? Grind shrines, get the Master Sword, and then just go to Ganon. And that's what I did. Crazy.
Crazy.
And so, and
I don't need no divine beasts. I'm gonna.
Not only did I do that, I did it on what is called Master Mode, which is the game's hardest difficulty. That I wanted to explore as a part of the game's DLC content. Like we mentioned DLC earlier in the podcast. This game has a plethora of DLC, and back in the day I bought the DLC and I thought, okay, I think it would be fair that I also touch on the DLC side of the game because you guys will be playing like sort of just the main experience, right? And so I played the DLCs, and I must say the DLCs are very, very good. They add a lot to the game and like a shit ton of bonus content as well as a shit ton of like new items, and like they at one point they add a fucking motorcycle to the game. There's so much shit. It's crazy, but another thing they add is the Master Mode, which is basically all the enemies hit a lot harder, and the main factor of the enemies regenerate health. So if you don't hit them for like 5 seconds or some shit, they just start regenning their health all the way back.
Including bosses?
Yeah, including bosses. Everything you fight in the game.
Fuck me.
And so, for my experience, I'd like to lay out that I went to Hyrule Castle, in which the game makes you fight every blight.
Holy shit.
One after the other. And if you die, you have to start again, obviously. And then after you beat all the blights, you then have to beat Ganon.
What?
And the bit afterwards. And if you die at any point, you have to go to the start.
What?
And I did that.
Fuck me.
You're a fucking madman.
Because, boys, the biggest thing you need to know about this game is that it takes practice and it takes patience. And things like, not being used to where the jump button is, or not being used to the combat or some of its mechanics is mostly up to a learning curve where you need to, learn and practice and get better with the controls that have been put in front of you. Because I must say, the mechanics in this game are fucking class. And I think to showcase this, one of the best ways to do it is, I'll try and find a video. We can, maybe put some credit on screen for, the creator. But this is what, is possible if you actually take the time to, master the combat and the controls and, get to a point in the game where you are, fucking phenomenal with this shit. I can't speak today, but you basically, a big thing you need to keep in mind with this game is that it is about, the practice and time you put into it is, the more you get back from it. I remember when I started, I was absolutely dog shit at the game as well, and I think so was everyone else, but it's just sort of the thing of, with time and when you get more used to the game, things like the flurry rush and bullet time mode is the key concept of the game, and things like that you can utilize to create such crazy fights. It's fucking insane. But pretty much I did that for my playthrough of the game, and I managed to do it, and it's genuinely one of my biggest achievements. I've never been able to beat Master Mode before, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And for the blights, I did a crazy thing of basically beating all of the blights without getting hit on Master Mode. So if I don't hit them for 5 seconds, they just start regenning health. They just regen. So there is no waiting. I love this game. I'm sure we're going to get into it with the more points we go on, and I will, have to kind of add more as we go along. But fucking hell, this game's awesome. Like, much like Harley said, the plot is really good. It's my first Zelda game as well, so I really appreciate the fact that they are sort of like an anthology and that they don't lean too hard on like, oh, you don't know the lore? Then you're fucked. You can't play this, and this. You have to play this, and this first. Or, oh, you want to enjoy this game? No, you have to play 4 games beforehand. It's like, no, play this game. It's right here. Enjoy it. The end. Like, it's just literally, it puts it right in front of you. You can enjoy it, play it, like... And if you want to learn, you can. Like, there's so much, like, fucking Legend of Zelda historians that exist just out there on the internet that just make videos of, like, all of this lore explained. And so if you really, really want to know, you can just do that. Like, there's so much, like, cool shit where this game is, like, such a good showcase of what an open world game should be, in which the game literally is just, like... Here's the world out in front of you. You can do anything at any time. You can literally just go straight to Ganon. Or you can do the thing where you get the Divine Beasts. You can literally go anywhere. One thing I think is fun, which you two never got a chance to explore, was you can just buy a house and own property. And where you can display all your like swords and items. So if you want to like keep... important items that you like, right, and you don't want to lose them because they'll break because of durability, you can display them in your house and you can upgrade your house. You can also build an entire village called Tarry Town, in which you can basically gather people from across the world of Hyrule, and you make this little village on this like giant rock, and like you make all the houses one by one. You get all the villagers. It's like Animal Crossing, pretty much.
What the fuck?
And this is just in the game, and you don't even like. If you don't do it, it's whatever. But if it's there, they just added that just because. Crazy. Like, there's so much like shit. It's crazy. The DLC adds things called the Master Sword Trials, which is basically they make you do a bunch of almost like battle challenges one after the other, like a Colosseum event pretty much. And then if you do all of that, you can upgrade the Master Sword so that the Master Sword is stronger. It's like 90 damage or some shit.
Jeez.
And it's genuinely like things like that I think are a testament to show just how much content is in this game, that if you don't see it at first glance, you know, when you learn, you're like, holy shit, there is so much you can do. It's like very like eye-opening to game development as a whole, to be like, oh, your game doesn't just have to be this, it can be all of this as well if you really want it to, and it doesn't really affect the overall game as a whole in like regards to being like, oh, but why it's too much shit, like, oh, you like, it's confusing. It's like, okay, don't do it. You don't have to do it. It adds nothing to the game apart from like your own personal enjoyment. There's just so much random shit. Like Hestu. I don't know if you guys met Hestu. Just an NPC.
Not that I remember.
No, that's another thing. But Hestu's a Korok that if you just give Korok seeds, increases your inventory.
Oh yes.
And like if you don't,
that person.
That
oh yeah.
And like you can just avoid them, and then you don't get inventory things. There's also this thing called Great Fairies.
How could you avoid that, dude?
I've only found one, I think.
Yeah,
I found a lot.
But there's great fairies that exist across the map that if you give them rupees and materials can just upgrade your armor and make you run stronger.
I figured that out. That was cool.
What else is there that's fun? There's the thing called the Horse God, which is a like technically a great fairy, but it's like this giant horse thing.
Oh,
and if you like pay money, it can revive your dead horses. And that also provides to the horse mechanics of this game, in which this game has like a large emphasis on like horses. And like if you want to use horses, they give you lots of tools and provide you with equipment to do so. You can like get different bridles and change the appearance of your horse. You can get different equipment, like in the DLC. You can summon the horse to you at any time and just like teleports in and shit. There's a lot, guys. There's a lot of shit in this game, and like I've been going non-stop and I can keep going if I really want to, but I think you get the point.
Yes.
There's a lot of shit in this game.
And it also feeds to replayability, because it's making me want to discover and replay the game now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should enter spoiler territory now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
don't know if we spoiled a lot. Not really.
Not really. Like, at this point, the only things that you've been technically spoiled on is just like random shit you can do at this point.
And where the Master Sword is, yeah.
And where the Master Sword is, yeah.
But yeah.
So, but you still have to find it. You still don't know where that far is.
And figure out how to get past the fog, which we haven't told you how to do yet.
Yeah. And how to get it. We've never specified how you actually get it.
Guys, we're so smart.
I know. Big brain.
That was all on purpose.
So now here's how you get it.
So spoiler warning. Here we are. Spoilers from here on out. I want to talk about the Divine Beasts. I think they're a thing to highlight.
Yes.
I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. They were all very different, all very unique. Obviously, Tom, you didn't complete all of them, but I was going to ask which one your favourites are.
Mine, so the order I did, I forget the names.
It's okay.
I
don't know. I just say the animals that they represented.
So I did the elephant, then the bird, then the camel, and now I'm doing the chameleon. And if I were to, I really like the order that I did it in. If I were to change it, maybe I'll do the bird first, and then the elephant, and then the camel, and then the chameleon. But I think I actually like the order that I did it, because I like that I have a second life. I like that I don't die as easily. But the movement would have been great. I like the powers that it gives you, because after every single Divine Beast, you get like a power from the champion or from someone relevant that area, right? That's what it is. Or
yeah,
is it
they're
just
the
a champion
past warriors that helped Link.
Yeah, they're the four like champions, which are basically the pilots of the Divine Beasts that would be used against Ganon when he returns.
And you obviously learn a little bit more about them and their relationship with Link,
which is very sweet. And the only reason why I probably would want to do the elephant last is just because the story is so far my favorite one. The connection, their connection is great, and fuck Zelda, Mipha's great. Fucking who even is she? Like, who cares, man? Like, it was the first Divine Beast, and I was like, oh, are they all gonna be like this? It's like, not really. They're gonna whatever.
It's a discussion.
I liked the camel one. I forgot her name. What's her name?
Ambrosia.
Ambrosia? Is that her name? Ambrosia?
Oh, the character's name?
The character, yeah.
I believe it's Urbosa.
Urbosa?
Yeah, Urbosa.
Oh, I thought it was Ambrosia for some reason.
No, it's Urbosa.
Oh, okay, never mind. Her, I liked her. And you know, she can get to with Zelda. That's fine.
True.
She can be with Zelda, and Link can be with Mipha. Happy ending. You know, for everybody, including me. But I liked her character. She was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the bird guy, to be honest.
Rivali,
yeah. Didn't really care for him.
I guess. What do you think about Daruk?
Daruk. I still haven't met him.
I guess that's for me to answer that question.
Yeah. What do you think about Daruk, Harley?
To be fair, I liked all of them.
Yeah.
I thought they were all very nice, interesting characters. Especially, the thing is, I don't want to spoil it for Tom, but the
no, that's fine.
The chameleon, the thing that happens, like they all have scenes afterwards, kind of thing. But I really liked the scene with them, and the NPC that you're also traveling with for that mission.
Yeah, Yonobu's pretty cute.
What was the order I did? I did the elephant, and then I did the bird.
Yeah.
And then I did the chameleon, and then I did the camel.
Yeah, that's like my recommended way to do it.
Yeah, I think that is also the best way to do it.
Like,
probably.
It's something that's like a point of contention. Like, people have different approaches, and that's fair. But like, I think in regards of like personal difficulty and usefulness, that's like what I would recommend.
I mean, getting that extra life like early on is a godsend.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of good, but also not good. It's the ability you get with the chameleon one, which would help. It helps 1,000 times much better for the camel.
Yeah, the camel one you kind of have to charge and all that shit. I'm assuming that the power you get from the chameleon is like the shield.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good at
times,
obvious. And sometimes it's annoying, but which I'll explain further later on. They're all great. They're all different puzzles.
Yeah.
The air one, I think, because they all have the bosses at the end. What are they called?
Blights.
The blights at the end of each one, and you kill each one. But obviously now we know if you don't do it and go straight to Ganon, you have to fight all of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Is it all at once or all at
It's
different...
one at a time.
Okay, I was going to say. Oh, my God.
All at once, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But it's the thing of, like, if you do die, you have to restart the whole thing.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I liked all of those bosses. They were different. The water one was the one I think I had the most problems with. Because
that surprises me.
That was early in the game, and I wasn't used to the combat.
That's
fair. That was the first time I properly did the combat.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, like, the air one was the easiest one.
Yeah.
I did that first.
Yeah, that was pretty simple, yeah.
Try. And then I like the way you figure out how to beat the chameleon one.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Looking forward to it.
And then the camel is fucking ridiculous, but
it's so stupid.
But I enjoyed it because I learnt its timings, and I didn't actually die as much as I thought I would. But it was cool, and I like the way you defeat that one too. It's cool.
Yeah,
that one I really fucking like struggled with.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I think maybe the thing I liked the least. So this is more of a Switch thing maybe than the Zelda thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a special controller, I just have the basic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm very heavy thumbed.
Oh yes.
But like to control the right thumbstick, like, you know, I just turn it, you know.
Yeah.
But I press it also. I guess I press it also.
Yeah.
It's quite sensitive, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the button for the fucking zoom in shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because like when I'm fighting, like the adrenaline is going, like I'm intense, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm mid fight, I fucking do the zoom in and like everything, I get lost, I get disorientated. Yeah. So like in that fight in particular, like I was really struggling.
Yeah.
And also not only that, but also the locking system.
Yeah.
That really fucks me up.
Right.
Where it's like you like.
Need to intentionally
I guess I'm simply used to the Kingdom Hearts one, where like you don't need to be facing directly the character to lock into the to the character, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But with this one, like you have to be physically like facing them, even if they're the only thing they can possibly target.
Yeah.
And that it's probably just simply a me thing, but I think it's kind of dumb. Just because, because and again, it might be because it's a Nintendo game, and because like the controller and the system for me was didn't like respond as I guess wanted it to.
Yeah.
For that fight in particular, I really struggled because like the whole point is that you have to be quick. Or, like, be able to tell the timings, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is, like, if I can barely lock into the character.
Right.
It's like, I just really struggled.
Yeah. But here's what I'll mention. Because I think this is important, like... Because the only way I could sort of, I guess, respond is with my own experience, I guess, and, like, watching you play. And, like, I will say that, like, it was interesting to see what every time you got into a fight, like... without fail, in every fight I watched you enter, you zoomed in every single time. And I don't know if it's a thing where it's you would benefit more from like a Switch Pro controller, where you just don't like Joy-Cons. Like, I don't know what it is that led to that, but it is a weird thing I noticed was like when you played, I don't know necessarily much for Harley, I don't remember if it happened to Harley. Maybe like at the start. I'm not too sure. I don't remember.
What, just zooming in?
Yeah, just like mid.
I didn't have a problem at all.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's my control. Maybe it's fucked. But like, or maybe I'm just heavy thumbed.
Yeah, I think like it's just heavy thumbed, and also
what's the lock on button for Dark Souls and stuff?
Well, I don't remember.
I forget. It might be also one of the trigger buttons.
In most games, it is pushing down on the stick.
That's
is
what
lock
I was thinking.
on.
Yeah. It might be that.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Is why
it could also be something like that.
Instinct.
But I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that as a lock-in thing also makes sense because like you might be moving the camera.
Yeah.
And then you press that, and because that is the thing of like if I have to face the character, I also feel the need to move the camera so I can physically see the character that I'm moving. It's the whole thing.
And like that's the thing that's also worth mentioning is like this game's quote unquote lock on system isn't necessarily lock on. It's called focus, and it's like it's more hands-on approach to the lock-on system. It's not as lazy as press button and then it just does the work for you. It's like you still need to be, working and playing the game, and like, you need to be doing these things like focusing. Like I kind of like the aspect of it's called focus because you need to focus on the creature, but you're also focusing like your finger on the focus button, and so when you lose focus you're letting go, so you're letting go of the lock on. And I kind of like how that like works in a, I don't know how to describe it, like in a literal sense. Like when you're thinking about it, it's like, oh, you're focusing on a creature, you need to focus on holding this button, and that's constituting your focus. And instead of like, oh, I press this button and then I don't have to look anymore. It's like that whole stick useless now. Don't need it. But like with this, it's like, oh, that stick isn't as important. But then if it goes behind a wall or something happens and you turn away, or if it goes behind you and like you let go of the lock on at any time, it's like it's up to you to refocus. And I kind of personally, I think it's an opinion thing. Like, you may not like it, but I enjoyed that more hands-on approach to lock-on. It's definitely something that I've never seen done before. It's definitely a different approach, like most games is. Like, oh, press the stick once, the end. But I feel like this was more interesting also because in a lot of games, something that really pisses me off with, like, lock-on systems is when sometimes you lock onto something and then the boss moves and then it just completely fucking disjoints your camera because it's trying so hard to lock on.
Sure.
And then it fucks you over when like something flies above your head, for example, right? And then the camera just kind of like whiplashes. And so I kind of like that you at any time can intentionally reset and like avoid that from happening with the camera whiplash. But yeah, it is definitely I think an opinion thing, like, and just depends on how you personally prefer how lock-on systems and how combat works in games. Another thing I'll mention is with the divine beasts. Because I would much go with the same approach like with Harley. Like, again, you can do any of them at any time, but like Varuta, which is the elephant, is like probably one of my personal favorite ones, mainly for the story. Like the cutscene and the journey with Mifa like always so warms my heart because it's so like something that's so good about this game is the power of like tragedy that exists within it, because in this world Link and everyone they lost, and all of his friends and all of those people he knew are dead, and like the realization of the fact that they died, like this for Nintendo, this shit's dark as fuck, and it just gets
eating
darker.
It up, baby. I love it.
Like the realization of the fact that like even at the end of the game, like Link won or whatever, you beat the game and you beat Ganon, yippee! But your friends are still dead. Like you have to navigate this, and you sort of find these new people and like these new friends in the process. And I really like that aspect of like the successor kind of thing, where it kind of alludes to being like, oh, this person would be the new pilot, so to speak, or this person would be the new person in charge. Where you meet like Sidon, Unibo, and like Riju, like all these characters that like are almost like, I don't know how to describe it, like the ragtag team, like the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, like these random people that come up and rise to fame like with you and rise to power with you, instead of them being like these divine champions and rulers of these like things. It's like they kind of just get involved. And like they find their way as it goes on, and like again, like Sidon and Mifa, that whole thing tears me apart every time. And then Link and Mifa, like it's so sad.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about that fucking boss.
Well, speaking of bosses,
I
want to talk about the last one of the game. Because Harley, you explained your journey.
Hey, I'm going to sit back, relax.
Yeah,
right.
I want to talk about my journey.
Yes.
So I spoke about my gripes with kind of like a little bit of the combat in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm a kind of a I'm a what's the word? I'm an advocate hater for the parry system in any game.
In any game.
In any game. And I strive on
guy.
No, because I strive on beating games without using that parry button. But I met my match this game.
Right.
Because a huge thing in the second phase of the Ganon fight is that you can't beat him unless you parry him.
Yeah.
So, this is the first boss for the longest time I can think of that I genuinely struggled with for a while. Like, quite a long time.
Yeah.
Multiple tries.
Yeah.
Which resulted me in, like, leaving the area to, like, explore the game a bit more, like, get more stuff to help me with the fight and all that stuff. And, like, I kind of had a small training arc, if you call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then practicing trying to parry on different other creatures, like the big things from the Incredibles.
Guardians,
which also have the most creepiest song. I want to also highlight the soundtrack. This is a small little honourable mention. The soundtrack in this game is beautiful.
This soundtrack is the best fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
If there is a vinyl of it, I'm going to get it, hopefully.
There probably is.
I want there to be, and I'll find it. And I'll get it.
But the soundtrack is so good.
It is good. But, yeah. Highlight 10 out of 10 soundtrack. Boom. Okay. Yeah. So, the song that they play when those motherfuckers find you, the creepy piano bit, scared me every single time, bro. It's fucking scary. And I didn't expect to be scared in this Zelda game that seemed very, like, lighthearted, but then to figure out that all the layers within the game and stuff.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It's menacing.
Yeah.
Like, and... It's like it speaks a lot to, like, again, the open world thing of, like, when you leave the trial the Chamber of Resurrection, like the start, and you get off the Great Plateau, like, you feel like a newborn baby, like experiencing the world for the first time. Like,
it's dangerous and scary. Nobody wants to kill you.
Corner, and then this fucking giant guardian shows up. You're like, oh fucking hell! I just wanted to walk around.
Huge, like, goblin cyclops.
Yeah, like a tree branch.
Or big rock guy just appears, or a big fuck off dragon. Yeah, crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Bro, shit's wild.
But yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
But yeah. So, I gathered my things, I trained, I came back.
Yeah.
And I did do it.
You did.
But how did I do it? The last thing I did, the last move I did, I perfectly parried and ended him.
Hell yeah.
It was a beautiful story to this journey, and I did it. The first try I came back to it, I did it. Like, it was great.
I can't lie, right? This sounds weird, but I've never had more of a Mr. Miyagi moment than going to Harley, seeing him. I've never seen, first of all, I would state this, I've never seen Harley more angry at a video game before. I've seen him angry at Cuphead. Yeah. But it wasn't. I've never seen him slam his controller into the desk with maximum force before, and you did that multiple times in this game.
And when I first did my attempt, like, it was like a good 2 hours or so, like maybe more of trying to, and just the repeat of dying and trying to keep doing it and doing it. I felt like a kid again. Yeah. Like, you were playing these games that we would probably play now that would just smoke. It was just, like, the easy thing in the world. But I felt that. And everything was drained out of me. I was very down after that.
And, like, I can't help, like, this sounds pretentious, but, like, viewing the skill gap, it looked as if you were bashing your head against a brick wall, like, every time. You died, came back, died again, but, like, the unfortunate thing was that you weren't picking up anything. And it like got to the point where I had to pull a Mr. Miyagi moment and be like, you gotta do this. You go out here, you see this guardian, I want you to parry him. And then, like, you spent time in the, like, Hyrule field just parrying guardians. And then when you got into the fight, you can parry him now. Yeah. And, like, it's the thing is, like, the game offers, like, in the broad stroke, the game offers minimal combat options and buttons. It's dodge or parry, right? Mm-hmm. But then once you master dodge and parry, again, maybe I'll show it on screen again. We'll see what we'll do. But, like, there the game is so well made on like, oh, this is how you can clearly read this attack, and how you can clearly read this, or how you can indicate this from this. Like the sound design of the Guardian shot, like is ingrained in my fucking brain. Like, I'm like a sleeper agent. As soon as I hear the fucking thing go, I can just perfectly parry this motherfucker every time now. Like, it's that shit. Like, the development of like skill as you go on and practice more and more is just so fun to realize. And I've never like realized it firsthand by watching you guys play and have the similar struggles and being like, holy shit, look at how far I've come. Like, like before I was in the same position. Like, I would get really angry.
Look at these losers.
But yeah, like coming back to it and being able to do this shit and like being able to go in master mode and go and fight all of the blights and then Ganon. And like, I won't lie to you. He whooped me a few times, and I was mad about it. Like, I would get angry, because there are moments where, for example, Link, when he gets hit too hard or hits with a certain attack, he can ragdoll. Yeah. And it takes some time to get back up. Yeah, and it's like, it's in those scary moments that, you know, controllers are at risk. Yeah. Where you're like, get up, get the fuck up. You're like, you're just spamming the A button, just like, get the fuck up right now, young man.
Yeah. You're not done.
You're not done. Get the fuck up.
But yeah, I did find it hard to time the gun was fine on Ganon. It was the sword that was hard to try and time, because it is. I got a flashback to the Elden Ring of like the delayed swing, if you get what I mean, of trying to like time it. And I don't think I ever got it perfectly. I just got lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was difficult. And then so we did the boss. It was a great feeling. But then there was another phase after that. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, baby.
My fucking heart sank when I realised I've defeated I was like, yeah, I done it. There's more.
Yeah.
And
there was this one phase.
And because I blame the Souls-like games for this mentality, I felt that if I died in this, I would have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah. And, like, you assume it's going to be, like, twice, as if not 3 times harder than the previous phase.
Yes.
Like, that's always the assumption. That's the
I got flashbacks
curse.
To the end of Elden Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
But luckily it wasn't, and that was okay. But I didn't die. But I was still scared shitless.
Yes, and very angry.
I paused. I was angry.
Yes.
I paused the game. I ate some pizza.
Yeah.
And then I carried on.
Yeah.
We did also discover, because I got very annoyed for a different reason in that the last bit of the fight, it's because you have to ride a horse.
That's right, bitch.
And I didn't touch a horse throughout the entire game.
It's what I like to call divine horse punishment. Fuck you.
But I was never told that it was crucial.
And to be fair,
drive
it's not. You can walk if you really want.
I guess, but I feel like it's going to be fucking so much more difficult to do that boss.
I guess.
But I think you can do it.
I guess to explain, because I think it's important to give context.
Okay.
When you beat Calamity Ganon, there's a final phase in which it puts you in a big field and you have a horse, right? And you have to shoot certain things, and you have to
Whilst riding the horse.
Right?
Oh, boy.
And so, this part of the game is very stressful for the first time, because you're very scared. Mm-hmm. But Nintendo did a very nice thing in which this is a very simple segment, and it's very easy as well. But it also sort of soft locks your game to where, like, if you die, you don't have to do everything all over again. It's this segment, and mainly this segment is there so you can feel like a badass, right?
Yeah.
It's literally there for you to get, like, an impactful last hit on your boss. Because when you play games, sometimes there's that feeling when you fight the final boss, and, like, you want to make it cool, but then, like, sometimes you might just hit it, and then it dies, and you're like, oh, shit, that was my last hit? Oh, okay. Right? So it's more like an event that you do around the games, almost similar to how you would try and break into a divine beast. It's similar to that sort of structure, where it's like, oh, you're riding something, you're circling this big thing, and you're trying to get in and, like, kill it, pretty much, right? That's the, like, final segment. It's very simple. It's supposed to be sort of hype and, like, give you that impactful final hit. But I can see how it can be very nerve-wracking and very scary, given the context of playing From Software games.
And also, if you're being like, okay, now control a horse, go.
Yeah.
But then we realised I was having a lot more trouble than I should be having with a horse. And that's because we discovered that my controller has drift.
Yeah.
Now, I've discovered what drift is now, and it's probably explained a lot of my struggles throughout this game.
Yeah.
But it's a complaint for the Switch side again.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, I guess explain what drift is, I guess. I mean, a lot of gamers will know what drift is, but like...
Yeah.
It's a bizarre issue because we still need to figure out for sure if that was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it was weird. But basically, drift is especially present in Switch controllers because unfortunately the tech and the way they build them, it's not very good. It's like, how do I describe it? The stick, programming wise, kind of is always sort of pointing in one direction, but you're not actually inputting it to go in that direction. It's almost like the default position, instead of being in the middle, is sort of like to the left or to the right or up or down. It's like, it depends whatever the drift problem is. But basically that means, like, when you're doing something very difficult like riding a horse,
that requires precision.
It requires you to, steer. And it's quite hard to steer when something's always pointing you in another direction, because then you have to, like, it's like tension of, like, you're trying to push it this way while it's trying to go this way. And it's like you have to almost fight your controller in a way to do it. But I think, speaking of horses, like, it's an interesting point, because the horse mechanics in this game are really interesting, because they take a different approach to horses, and, like, it's not everyone's favourite cup of tea, but for me, I really like the idea of it, and the practice of it, in which horses have their own behaviour and AI, and aren't just mindless things to make you go faster. It's almost like an actual horse. And, like, it's really fun, because in the game, they have built-in, like, actual roads and paths, right? Like, dirt paths, and the horse AI defaults when you go quite fast is to just run along the roads, because it's not going to just, like, horse isn't just going to be like, all right, nah, fuck it, not on the road, I'm going on the field now, I've decided, like, mid-stride, like mid-running. And, like, when you're on a horse in a lot of video games and you're going really fast and you want to turn right, it just fucking hard turns right. And it's just like, it's not a car, it doesn't fucking drift, it's a horse, mate. So it's going to take longer to turn, and you need to slow down to turn. And a lot of games...
Red Dead horses are built different, what can I say?
Like, it's so bizarre sometimes, the game mechanics for horses in different... And they're so different in every game. But this game's approach was, like, to give the horse its own behaviour. And it's a big thing, and I was kind of shocked that you guys never really rode horses, because, like, there's so many stables.
I've tried, man.
I didn't...
I've tried so hard, man. But these fucking horses, man, they fucking be running around, and they didn't want to go places I want them to go. And I go do a hiya, and they go fast, but then they stop, and they can all go the tiniest bit, they can all go up the tiniest rock. The tiniest, most minuscule rock. And I'm like, brother, come on!
And it's in this thing that I mentioned.
So that's my opinion about the
horses AI. Because it's the thing of, like, if you're riding on a horse and you're running, right, for example, and there's a wall in front of you, it's like, I'm not going to go and run into the wall. I'm not fucking stupid, right?
Yeah,
and then there's like examples where there's rocks, and it's like, oh, there's a giant rock, I'm gonna go around that rock, or I'm just gonna stop. I ain't gonna jump on the rock, I'm not a fucking idiot. And then there's a ledge, it's like, I'm not gonna drive off the ledge, I'm gonna stop. Like,
the ledge thing is fine.
There's so many, like, fun things and, like, different mechanics to how it goes. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it is annoying. Like, there are certain bits in the game where certain little rocks are just like, oh, I think it could have gotten over that. But you have to, like, understand that that's something that suffers directly from the way the horse is programmed, because they had to figure this shit out by mapping out the entire map again just for horses, and, like, where they can and cannot go. Like, that's something they had to program every surface to be like, can it go over that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
I don't know.
You say these horses are realistic, but do they just shit? I don't think so. That's why Red Dead 2 horses are better. No, I'm joking.
Like, my thing is just like, yeah, I understand realism, but man, I'm in an open world game. I kind of just want to fucking go. You know, like when I think of it, I just think of like fucking, Elden Ring. You know what I mean? I know it's a completely different game, but it's just like riding a horse in Elden Ring. Maybe I have rose tinted glasses for this, but it's like just kind of jumping and shit. That was sick, on the horse.
Yeah, like that's
cool. I understand the realism approach, and it's cool, but I feel like it was a little bit too much personally for me. Yeah. And
it's like open world game, man. Like you know what I want from a horse in an open world game? I want to feel like I'm in like Shrek 2, in the opening of Shrek 2, when there's fucking Prince Charming fucking riding the horse in the beginning. That's what I want to feel like.
Right.
And
yeah.
And I think for me personally, I mean, I didn't have a prompt or like thing to make me want to ride the horse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was a side quest. There probably is. But like main story wise,
there's like a bunch of races you can do.
Then maybe if there was one main story thing that had you do a horse thing, then I don't think I would have much of a trouble. But because there was like literally nothing, I felt like that was my only complaint, I guess. Guys, enough about horses. I have one more little complaint.
What?
Why does every female NPC you talk to make a moaning noise when you talk to them?
Because it's hot as shit. No, I don't know.
No.
I don't fucking know.
No. It's
I don't
so
know.
weird.
It's Nintendo.
I don't, bro. It's not needed, man.
No, it's not.
And I was playing it, and I had it on my speakers, and my girlfriend was in the
That's
room,
so funny.
And I spoke to someone, and you'd hear the noises or the moans they make, and my partner was like, "What the fuck are you playing?"
Yeah.
And the baby's not what it looks like. It's Zelda, I swear.
Okay, Nintendo, this is a chillin' call out. Either remove the women moans or add man moans. I want every time I speak to a man for it to go,
because it is so strange and stupid and unnecessary. For some characters, sure, but not every single one. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But that was my only other small complaint. And then one more thing. Story-wise. The game just ends.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you defeat Ganon and that's it. The end.
Yeah.
It just ends. It's like, what? What? There's nothing?
It's not about the destination. It's the journey.
Shut the fuck up. I don't care about that shit. I want to see that. They're just like,
point,
yay, we did it. And they walk off. And I was like, what? I want to see at least something like, and then Hyrule is like nice again. And we move in and the castles and all the things in darkness. No, it just ends. They walk away.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
And I was like, what? But I've invested. It just ends like that. And then
I guess there's a sequel. I don't know if that has.
I wonder if there was a sequel. But imagine if there wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a few years there wasn't.
I would have been very annoyed. I would have been very
right.
But knowing that Tears of the Kingdom exists and I am going to play it, kind of like helps that. But I think I can understand the mind point of when like people are like, "Where's Tears of the Kingdom?" There's got to be or something just to like feel that gap. I don't know. It was just really weird,
right?
And a very abrupt ending. That was a weird thing.
Okay, right. I gotta put my armor back on. Okay,
you don't have to. You don't. It's not. I'm just saying.
I think a thing that's important to recognise when talking about the end of the game is that it's one of an ending that is definitely like left up to interpretation. Where it's like the game, like Tom said, you complete the journey, you do all of this shit, you have this like massive like climax where you fight Ganon and you do all this shit, you save the day, whatever, right? But yeah, the game does abruptly end. And, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. Like, they could have done a nice montage segment of, I don't know, people faffing about in Hyrule or something. And I won't lie to you either. Like, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't necessarily touch on, like, specifically what happens after the end of Breath of the Wild. It's not like, oh, guys, let me give you, like... the analysis of what happened since. It's like, no, they just learned about thing, do this thing, and then thing happened.
Okay.
Right?
Crazy.
But it's one of those where it's like, for a while, it was an ending that was left up to interpretation, where it's like, they won, and it's like, what is next? Because, like, the sadness of the game is the fact that they lost everything still. Like, all their friends are still fucking dead. Can't bring them back. They're still fucking dead.
A little narration, like, and then, like, Zelda going, and now Hyrule will start building, and we remember the people, some shit like that.
Yeah, it could even been something like, Hyrule was saved until it wasn't, and then whatever,
But that I feel like people would be angry with that.
Maybe.
Or some shit. No, okay, maybe not exactly what I said, but like, because what I think also Harley is coming from is just like, after doing all of this shit, it's like, I think it should be the reward of like, oh, and it's done, and it's and this is what you worked towards, and this is what it is. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, this is the reward of what you did. Like, there you go, the happy moment. But yeah, I mean, I haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah.
But I can see how I'm gonna be like, oh well, okay.
Yeah. Well, shall we go over for our questions we normally go through for each game?
Yeah, I think it's time.
The first one,
this is going to be I think our answers are going to be the same for some reason. Is it worth the price?
I think yes. Wait, hold on.
I'll phrase it.
I think,
Go on.
like,
yeah.
when the game was released,
Yes.
£60, whatever, £50, whatever it was, yes. But it has been 7 years, man. It shouldn't be the price that it is now. It's an amazing game, don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying my time. But just for the nature of how aging games and things go, it shouldn't be as expensive as it is.
And
that's my take.
And we know that Nintendo have the thing of barely having their games go on sale or drop in price. So it is crazy.
Yeah, if you don't own the... okay, wait, Tyler, please.
What?
I don't know, I want your opinion, if it's worth the price it is.
Like, I think if you can get the shit on sale, get that bag, absolutely go for it.
It's rarely on sale.
Yeah.
Or a Black Friday deal.
But if it is ever on sale, go for it, absolutely. But even if it's not, and you have a Switch, I think it's important that, like, I wouldn't buy a Switch just to play this game.
For it, right.
I think that's a stupid decision to make. But I think it's a fucking phenomenal game. And I would like to state that you fucking all heard how many hours I have. This shit's worth £70 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it depends.
It's just...
it rivals nowadays games where you pay 70 quid and the game is 12 hours long. And it's like, okay, in my opinion, I would rather have spent £70 and have 200 hours of gameplay. So it's honestly a subjective thing now. Sure. A lot of games with pricing is just stupid. Where it's like, back then, this was the peak of prices for games, and now it's the standard price for games. And now you don't know the quality of the game you're going to get. It's just £70 regardless nowadays, unfortunately. Yeah. And, like, that's the scary thing of, like, if you're comparing it to games now, it's like, you honestly, every single game that comes out, if it's not indie and it's AAA, it's £70 or more at base price, which is scary. And, like, I understand the thing of being like, wanting it to go down over time, and you because it's more accessible that way, right? But it is just genuinely the thing of, like, Nintendo is Nintendo. They stick to the quality of their games, and they're like, this game is worth this much, and we'll keep it at this much. And you can, say it's scummy or not, whatever. It's the unfortunate truth, where they will price a game and they'll keep the price as that price. But then you've got games like nowadays that make a game, put the base price at 70, no one plays it because it's only 12 hours long, and then they're like, oh shit, this game actually isn't worth £70 at all, and then they decrease it over time to when it's like, oh, this game's 30 quid now, and it probably should have always been 30 quid, but because the game came out and the standard price for games nowadays that are AAA is £70, it's the unfortunate truth that whether or not, you know what the game is or not. Most of these games now that you're buying that are AAA, they're 70 quid. And it's the scary truth. But if you can get that shit on sale, absolutely go for it. Get that bag. I don't think they've done many. If there's ever a time, and like maybe on the new console, we started, the episode talking about the new console. If the new console comes out and then it is cheaper on the new console, or they do like a remastered version or some shit, and then the old version then decreases drastically, there you go. There's your chance. But yeah. That's pricey.
Or like second hand.
Yeah. Second hand as well, yeah.
Borrow it off your brother, that too.
That's also...
Or borrow off your partner's brother.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, shall we rate this game?
Yes. I'll go first. I feel like I've been going last a couple of times. Again, I haven't completed the game. But I have my problems and my gripes, but it's undeniable how good this game is. And I know I'm going to enjoy continuing playing the game, and I am going to continue to play the game probably after we the this podcast. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's very good. It's an 8 for me.
I'll go next. I think it is deserving that Tyler goes last. Yep, I have my gripes, and I agree with you, Tom. I'm giving this an 8 too.
Handshake.
Go on.
Okay.
I wonder what you're going to give this game, Tyler.
Well. Right.
1.
Allow me to, right, okay.
You don't have to explain. You don't have to defend yourself.
I am going to explain.
Okay, alright.
Okay. Okay, 2-hour podcast, let's go.
I think about, maybe a few nights ago, I sat down and thought about it. Properly, and I wrote something down because I wanted to have my ideas concrete, right? Because I think we've said a lot in this episode, and I think we all have. I've been definitely doing a fair share of glazing, I won't deny it, but this is what I objectively think about this game, all right? Okay, overall, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a defining game in the open world genre of video games we see so often nowadays. With its characteristic charm and style, making full use of the Switch's limitations and putting them to great use, right? What lies ahead for the player is a challenging frontier for both new and returning players into the Legend of Zelda series. It's a fresh take on the classic story with a powerful emphasis on tragedy. The game does wonders at creating memorable characters and combat that can be challenging to process but powerful to master. I encourage all those who wish to play a Legend of Zelda game, or Switch game for that matter, to give this game a try and experience it for yourself. But on top of that, this game has a sequel that takes the game and then just fucking triples it. And so for that reason, I can't give it a 10 out of 10. That's why for me, I'll give it a 9.5.
Okay.
One of my personal favourite games of all time that only really dawned on me when I replayed it.
Wait, hold on. If Tears of the Kingdom triples how good this game is, shouldn't you give this a 3.333333333?
No.
Anyway. Anyway, well there you go. So what's the average here?
So I guess it'll be a 9. I guess. Yes, yeah, a 9 roughly. Probably be 8 point something.
For our lives, we'll go 9.
Yeah, for your lives.
Yeah. 9. Handshakes all around.
Handshakes all around.
Very good. So the Chillin' Breath of the Wild ranking is a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Have you guys enjoyed that mini deep dive there from Tyler?
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't,
you guys are wondering why he's the one that does them?
Yeah, I can't lie to you. I've already thought of doing a deep dive before we started the idea for this podcast to do it on this month. And I was like, interesting. But I might still do it, or I might do it on Tears of the Kingdom. We'll never know. But
both.
Yeah.
It's genuinely a thing of this is one of my favourite games of all time, right? Mm-hmm. And so unfortunately you're gonna get the case of me glazing it. And I think the same can be said for anyone who has a favourite game. Not mentioning no names here, but
Yeah, I'll do the same for Kingdom Hearts, and Harley probably do the same for Bloodborne.
There's a lot of scenarios in which that you have a favourite game, and sometimes I feel like it can happen where it's your favourite game is your favourite game, and unfortunately it's you gotta stick with that now. It's you gotta work with what you have now. And I do think when I was replaying it, I was just holy shit, I like this game a lot more than I know. Like, I don't know if you saw it during this podcast episode, but I know too much about this game.
No, I didn't know it too.
There's so much like that I even didn't mention, for example, like the whole motorcycle thing.
No, you're done. You're done.
We're going to
We've reviewed the game. We've rated the game. Please, Harley, tell me what game we are playing next month.
Well, you say that this will be... Well, we're reaching an end of a chapter, gang. Next month will be the 12th month, December's game. And then who knows what will happen after that.
Thank fuck for that. Oh, God. We're almost there.
We'll find out when we get there. But hey, it's been a journey. And we'll talk about it more in depth. But the last game we'll be playing in, I guess, Season 1 of the Chillin' podcast is Batman Arkham Origins. Boom. Whoa. Now, you may wonder why this
I wonder
game...
if that has relevance to anything.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Maybe not.
But yeah, it's set at Christmas. Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's not a long game. It's a good game. Tom, you haven't never played a Batman Arkham game, am I correct?
Nope.
So I'm happy for you to explore the games that really put up the superhero genre games up on the market. Not this game in particular, the franchise itself. But we'll talk more about it later.
Like, guys,
when I might start glazing about Batman.
Guys, we've reached the point, Tom glazed Persona, I've glazed Legend of Zelda, now Harley will glaze Batman. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Full circle.
The next podcast won't come out until, I guess, a little bit early January. So, from us here in Chillin', whenever you're listening, I hope you have a good Christmas. Yeah. A merry one, even.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
Hope the game of the year was good.
We'll find out.
Yes. Yeah, I hope we're right. Tell us in the comments who you think is going to win Game of the Year and stuff.
And tell us if we're right, so I can
gloat. It's if you tell us if you agree with our whole Elden Ring discussion stuff.
Yeah.
But alongside that, if you're not already, please subscribe, give us a like and stuff. We'd really appreciate it. But we
have been chilling,
and you guys chill out.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Maybe the last one will get Harley.
Maybe the last
Goodbye,
one.
guys.